Hi, this is Matt with UTE, and for my first video for Tech Tuesday, we're going to go over your initial tooling setups for your bend dies, clamp dies, pressure dies, wiper dies, and mandrels. Alrighty, for our first step in setting up our tooling, first thing we're going to want to do is get our clamp dies pretty much roughed into where we need them. We've already got our bend dies and everything mounted, and we've got our clamp die bolster shifted back. So we're going to go ahead and gauge the clamp to move it all the way forward, and then we can fine tune our adjustments with these adjustment screws. So I'm going to go ahead and move that forward. All right, now that we've got the clamp die cylinder engaged all the way, that's as far as it's ever going to go over, we need to get our clamp dies in position manually from here on out. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a piece of material, any round tube of the shape we're working with, and we're going to place it just inside those dies right there. And then we're going to start working it in till we get contact. And you see it starting to get tight. For starting out, we're going to want to get it tight enough to where we can't spin it anymore. So I'm slowly working it in. I can still spin it. So right there, I can no longer spin this piece of material between that clamp die and bend die. So from here on out, we're going to take it anywhere from a quarter turn to a half a turn more, and that's going to be our start point. All right, for setting up the pressure dies, it's very similar to your clamp die setup, but the biggest difference being we need to have the PDA pulled out. We want to try to center those pressure dies on your bend dies. And the reason you want to do that, if you leave the pressure dies all the way back, you're only really going to be pushing on the front side of those, and we really want to make sure that pressure is centered. So we've got our PDA pulled out, we backed our bolster up, ran our cylinder all the way in so we're not touching. We've slid some material in there, and we're going to, just like the clamp die, we're going to tighten this up on this bolster till we can no longer rotate the material. Now, one handy thing you have down here is this linear scale mounted, and you can keep track of the position of that pressure die bolster to see where it is and see how far you're moving, and also keep track of where you need to be for different parts. So we're going to work that in so we can no longer spin this, and I can't spin it anymore right there. So then we're going to give another quarter turn or so just to give it a little extra, and that's going to be a good starting point. All right, so now we're going to set up our mandrel. And we've already got the mandrel in place, but we need to adjust where it's sitting according to tangent. Now this is a 3-ball mandrel, so it has 3 rotating flexible balls that are actually going to follow the tubing around the bend. So those are actually going to be way in front of tangent. We're actually going to focus on the hard part of the mandrel, which is kind of hard to see here. It's kind of hard to get a good video of this, but we're going to move this whole mandrel forward and try to get that solid part of the mandrel lined up with tangent. And for our tooling setups, it's going to be right at the front edge of this pressure die. All right, and it looks like that's got us right about where we needed to be. You can see right there that solid part of that mandrel. We've got it pretty close to tangent, and I think that's going to be a great place to start our bending at. All right, and now we're going to show you how to set your wiper dies. So this right here is your wiper die post, and these are your wiper die mounts. You have lots of different adjustments here. These sides here will actually lock down on the post, and that's going to lock your rotation. These bolts back here will move forward and backwards to allow you to get closer to the pressure die. And you have 2 more bolts on this side that let you go in and out towards the bend die. Now, if you look up here, what we're going to do to get our rough end started is we've got our clamp die and pressure die run up with a piece of material inside clamped up. And we're going to get this wiper die, wiggle it here, we're going to push it in up as far as she'll go. And we want to pay close attention to this gap right here between the pressure die. Now that distance between there is going to dictate what we call your rake, and that's the angle the pressure die is going to be sitting at in regards to your, the angle your wiper die is going to be sitting at in regards to your pressure die. So we're going to want that wiper die in as far forward as we can get it, And we're gonna want this as straight as possible because we're running some stainless steel material and we want as little to no rake as possible for that. So we're gonna run it in nice and tight, just like that. We're gonna tighten it down there and we're gonna try our bend. Alrighty, well, we've gone over our basic setups for our clamp dies, pressure dies, mandrels, and wiper dies. And those should be good enough to get you started and get you in the ballpark so you can really fine tune and get those bends in. We want to wish you a good day and safe bending.